After filming this video, the realization dawned on me that today is actually Thursday and not Wicked Wednesday. So I hope that you guys enjoy this video regardless, and that every time I say Wicked Wednesday, it either puts a smile on your face or makes you do a little bit of a simple laugh. But yeah, thank you guys for being here, and let's get into it. What's up, gamers, and welcome to Wicked Wednesday. This is what I'm going to be calling Wednesdays going forward if Thomas continues to deliver unto us an incredible amount of information about this game's future and some of the insights of what they're thinking and doing behind the scenes. But hello everyone, and welcome to another No Rest for the Wicked video. My name is Brian, if you happen to be new around here, and we've got so much to cover. I'm honestly very excited because Thomas continues to deliver unto us these answers about the future of this game, driven from questions by the community, and I love this level of communication. So let's kick it off. It all really starts off with the tweet. He says, I just came out of hours of level design and system sync calls. We've been analyzing all the feedback that we've been getting, and we have been discussing some major improvements across the board. Now, one thing I'd like people to understand is that our early access isn't at all a demo or a finished product. Our goal is to use early access to foster a community and to get a ton of feedback, and then allow us to perfect Wicked over time. I think this middle point, he's knocking it out of the park right now. In fact, we're also going to be seeing PAX Day do something very similar. If you guys have been following that game, I honestly really like it as well. It is a different kind of game completely, but they're doing the early access to kind of foster a community. Because I honestly think with the way that social media and toxicity and even us YouTubers, and I'm going to put myself in that same kind of vein, like it actually is like, let people play the game, lets the community build itself up so that when it goes to the masses, you automatically already have, the issues kind of resolved and fixed and and more. Anyway, he continues on. That means that whatever necessary, we will absolutely still do some major heart surgery, meaning that our 1.0 release could be very different systematically than what we've shipped into early access. I think that's a part of the kind of curiosity that I have with the game. How is it going to evolve and change? I really love that journey, and if you're like me in that regards, I think you will too. But if you're not, there's nothing wrong with you. That's perfectly reasonable to not want to be a part of that process as well. Anyway, he finishes it off, says, our goal is not to rush the product to market as quickly as possible. It's to ultimately release a product that is as good as it could possibly be, and thus will stand the test of time. And so that is the only line, I think, of disappointment, especially for those of you who constantly and understandably ask about console support. Now, I do have a video guide going through GeForce Now on Xbox, so if you do have an Xbox and GeForce Now, there you go. Be sure to check the player guide playlist here on the channel, as that will get you to everything that you need for the guides that I make. But beyond that, this is where things get really, really exciting. Lion writes, could you please consider adding some sort of fast travel between all points like the bonfires in DS? Could there be a late game upgrade or something like that? And Thomas replies, yes and no. And I like how he is giving us that tease. I think it tells us a lot about his character. It's they're listening, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to implement that feedback. But let's continue on. He says, we will allow players to fast travel, but we won't just allow them to teleport between all the different whispers. We've been thinking about this a lot, and we hear everybody is wanting to get around the map as fast as possible, but we also have to make sure that we stay true to our designs. We have a gondola system and other things like that coming up, and you'll be able to build through Danos. We'll also be adding in more shortcuts and also on the throughout all of Ashola Sacra. And as well as we expand on our content, there will be even more interconnectivity on top of that. We'll most likely also make the return rune more useful by giving it a more return points it could warp you to, and for multiplayer it'd be good if casters can warp party members too. Man, I tell you, that is so freaking exciting, especially as a Final Fantasy XI veteran with like with black mages being able to warp, white mages being able to teleport, like having some kind of class identity in a soft class based system. I think giving you the player the choice to do that, I think it's going to be interesting to see how that impacts our multiplayer builds, because then it's not just about what I choose, it's how can I also bring synergy with what you choose. But anyway, I digress. He says, I know a lot of people will disagree with me on this, but I want people to get intimately familiar with the world that we're building and factoring in how you traverse the world the fastest, most efficient way possible could be a part of the player's through process. Now, to a certain degree, I also am enforcing this because we want to make sure we don't allow ourselves to give up in terms of level design. Once you allow players to fast travel everywhere without any cost to it, the stakes become less and our team on making sure the level designs don't become bloated and unfun to traverse. We also see something similar in terms of the psychology with MTX, right? The incentive ends up being that we put the coolest stuff in the shops, etc. Not that they're doing that. They're looking like they're actively avoiding that mindset, which is making me very happy to be here on the ground floor with the game. He continues, level design is very, very, very important to us. And it's one of those aspects that aren't valued as highly as they should be in most all Western studios, with some exceptions like Arcane, Retro, and hopefully also Moon. So I hope you folks understand where we're coming from, and our goal is to build the most incredible world that you won't get tired of because it is always presents new things to the player. Speaking of new players, welcome in all to the new subscribers here. Thank you guys so much. Like I say, I want to always earn your sub, and if I do, sound off in the comments so that way I can feature your comment on screen and also hopefully reply and welcome you personally to the channel. So I appreciate all the support, but we still have so much more to cover, so let's keep going. Napoli Porta writes, hi Thomas, first of all, amazing work guys, and second, is there any chance that we get a Beastiary diary sort of thing with 3D model viewer? I really want to know more about the lore of each creature and faction as well as see them up close. Thomas says yes, but it's not instantly or insanely high priority at the moment. That's exciting. I hope they also, with the Beastiary, give you stats. I love stats in video games. I'm a former, not a professional baseball player, but I put a lot of time in college playing baseball, and I love stats. I'm just a nerd when it comes to that. So anything Beastiary and stat related with the RPG, just so that at some point you look back and you're like, holy crap, I can't believe I've killed that boss 1,000 times. I think that's always interesting and exciting. Blatant the Mama writes, hi Thomas, 30 hours into the game and I'm absolutely loving it. One question I've been having is, we know there will be more areas for sure, but does that include new cities, settlements, and I mean, no way Sacra is the only city in the game in the future, right? Thanks. And Thomas says, yes, some citizens of Tyr have already made it to Sacrament, and so citizens of Sacrament will also at some point make it to Tyr and to other places. And to expand on Lucio writes, is there any chance we're going to be going to Havenport? And Thomas says, Havenport lies to the west of Sacrament. You wouldn't want to go there as long as the silverfish are still around. And I like that little tease, especially with lore. I'm very excited to see what other cities and places that we go to in this game. And honestly, based off these two answers alone, it really does make me start to think that this game is even bigger than any of us truly can imagine or realize. Time will tell if that feeling ends up paving out to be true, but I'm in. I hope you guys are too, especially if you're already, some odd minutes into a Ginger Prime video. I think you're clearly as excited as I am for this game's future. But again, it doesn't end here. We got so many more questions and answers from the team. That's why if we keep this up, if they keep this going, we'll just keep Wicked Wednesdays rocking and rolling here at the channel. Dragon says, hello Thomas, as when the game crashes during Crucible, can we get a refund on the Ember or allowing us to log into the exact same place or start the area that we were in? Also, I think that crafting stations should be treated the same way storage does, aka put stacks instead of units. Thomas says, number one, how about we don't crash instead? I think that's what we're all rooting for here. Number two, yes, we will be looking into all of this to improve the quality of life there for sure. So it does sound like there's going to be some systems and checks in place in case that happens. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but it'll be good to say that you're having the run of your life, or you're getting some really cool gear and loot, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're back out there. I would personally, it would be great if it let you rejoin where you left off, but I'd love to know your thoughts about that. What kind of safeguards would you guys like in place? We can have that discussion in the comments. Anyway, Light says, Love the game, Thomas. One question. Are you able to do anything about the walking running? I feel my character walks way too slow, but more importantly, permanently holding the A to run really is tiring for my thumb. It's the only thing that keeps me from being addicted. Thoughts? And Thomas says, yes, auto run is actually going to be one of the next updates that they include with the game, and we're still waiting for hotfix 7. Honestly, it's Thursday. I'm going to venture to bet we might see that tonight, and if we do, I'll be sure to give you guys the updated notes and my thoughts on them as well. Fernando writes, one question, you got to keep the current price or it might eventually raise it like last Epoch did. I'm playing other games at the moment, but I want to know so I can decide to wait or not. It would be nice heads up if that was, and that can happen with Wicked 2. Thank you so much in advance. And he says, yes, the early access price is actually at a discount. So just keep that in mind if you're deciding to purchase the game. Castellino writes, hopefully custom cursor is going to be on the way. Default one doesn't really fit with the game. Thomas agrees. So I think that's another hint of what is coming up. Noisely writes, if you guys did some dev vlogs discussing things, I'd watch that. Definitely a foster and understanding community, Coffee Stain Studio with Satisfactory as an example. Thomas writes, I've actually thought about that for quite often in the past. I think people would get a lot of enjoyment out of watching our system syncs, seeing how senior designers attack problems and come up with solutions. But ultimately, the choice was made that we have to protect our folks and allow them to be totally open during our meetings without potentially having to face community backlash. It's bad enough that I sometimes say things that I get in trouble for, and I wouldn't want that to happen to our team at large. And this is honestly makes the most sense. I honestly don't feel like I want to be a part of those meetings when they're kind of hashing things out. I want them to be able to speak freely. In brainstorming meetings, there are no bad ideas. And that's an important aspect to brainstorming. If you find somebody coming in and being overtly negative, like, oh, that idea won't work because of this or that, you might find yourself either taking way too long to get to the right idea or not getting to the right idea at all because people are like, I don't really want to get shot down. No, this idea is kind of stupid. And maybe it's not the stupid idea that wins, but it's the stupid idea that inspires the smart idea. And that essentially is, I think, what's important. Now, ultimately, if they went and did like a once a month or a once a quarter kind of dev update and discussion with here's what we've got for the feedback, here's the decisions, here were some of the challenges, they could do that in part of a summary. And I would actually think that would be very exciting and healthy for us as a community to rally around those moments when the devs are opening. Now, ultimately, whether they do that or not, I think will be interesting. I think as long as they keep the communication up like they've been doing, and we could possibly also see them partnering up with various different YouTubers of various different sizes, most likely the big guys, and them doing that kind of coverage. And it'll be great to see what happens in the long run with there. We still got more, guys. Like I said, Wicked Wednesday, baby. Let's keep it rolling. Thrilled that they're sticking with their guns on this, as Wolfmeister writes. As Skill Up and others have noted the early access reviews, Wicked Game is making deliberate choices that cannot be initially painful to that can be initially painful to the player, but ultimately serve as a vision that cannot be compromised. This is classic Born. So this is in relation to his answer, yes and no, about fast travel, etc. Again, feel free to weigh in. I'm very curious about your thoughts, and I'd like to explore that in future community discussion sections that we put towards the end of the video. Thomas says, yeah, I think certain reviewers out there played so many games that they have intuitively acquired some design chops. I think Skill Up is one of them. I also really enjoy watching Asmongold, as most often for the feedback he's given is pretty spot on, but I have this hidden theory that all of us bald dudes have some good design brains. I think I'm going to try to include myself into that category. Sneak in a little bit, maybe. We'll see. That's why early access is honestly such a treat for us right now. We finally get this feedback and can actually allow it to help and produce a better product than ever before and we could ever have had. And now we've just had to rush to make a box product and never had the chance to really listen to the actual players. For games that are as complex as something like Wicked is, there's just no other way to do it. In other news, guys, if you guys are over in the Discord, the last bit of piece of it is that they are currently time to furnish your house. A contest is happening. So you guys can post your image video on the contest submission on Discord. Check it out if you want to do be a part of that. The contest is going to run from today until Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So be sure to check that out if you want to take part in that. And the Discord is available. I don't have the link directly. I only have the link to my Discord, which you're also invited to join and the top link in the description will get you there. All right, guys, that's basically the news. We're going to jump into the community discussion, and topic section for this video. So if you want to hang out for that, that's great. We're going to talk about the game a little bit. We're also got a couple little life things, and if you want that in your feed, then there you go. If not, I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video. Anyway, Azen writes, personally, I'm just waiting for Respec. I hate the idea to play a game without it, and I left 3 hours since I know I'm going to get mad at not being able to use weapons I found later on. So that's all I care about. But they seem to not want to implement an easy full Respec. That might be a deal breaker over the entire game for me, TBH. They are going to do a Respec. We just don't know the concept and the cost of that said Respec. I honestly think it's probably going to be a full reset, and then you can then reallocate, but it's going to be something that is a little bit on the pricier end, whether that's using an item or using money. Like we really don't know, and I'm very curious as to what kind of Respec system you guys would want. I personally want there to be real weight to the decisions that you make, but not so punishing that you have to roll a new character. So there's gonna be a fine line in that respect. And I think honestly, that's gonna be something interesting in the long run. Whip back to their thing, their design vision for the game, and what the community wants, and kind of that friction that will naturally exist. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I think it's just going to be something that once it's implemented, we'll be able to kind of weigh in on that cost and more. But I also am getting ready. Once I'm about to hit cap on my first character, and then I'm going to roll other characters, so that way you end up having even more opportunities. And I think that's going to be personally exciting. And yeah, I'd love to know what you guys are going to do. Are you a one character main, or do you like rolling multiple characters as well? Sound off in the comments. The goal, I don't know. I don't know how my brain just fritzed out on me for a second there. All right, guys. There's a couple of comments here. PD writes, came for the game, stay for the life of ice. I would give you more likes if I could. Thank you so much for my friend. Thank you. Simply Mike, Mike, you're awesome, dude. We've been talking over on Twitter, seeing you in the comments. Thank you for the support. It's always good when I see names come back. You'll notice that I do a lot of hearts on comments, because eventually after you get enough hearts, it actually puts a little badge by your name. So that way I know, hey, I've talked to this person over a wide range of time. This is great video as always, and pretty much all the news most of the time. Your personality, honesty and delivery. Congrats on the weight loss, and best of wishes for future, noting it's more important than our health, and it's a good example to the kids. I agree 100%. It's a big reason why I'm doing it. And honestly, that's my goal. To be as absolutely real with you guys as possible, namely because I think that's just the most healthy thing. I'm not playing a character here. I'm just a dad who loves video games, who loves his kids, and loves making videos. It's a fun little hobby, and I'm so glad that so many people have found it and they're enjoying it. Anyway, last comment from Alex says, really wanted another ring slot, but also couldn't afford not to get more resources space. That's the ebb and flow as you progress. I went with rings all the way through, and then eventually I've been working on inventory. So that's going to be the balance there. I like the rings because of the perks, and then essentially inventory is after that. I haven't opened up other weapon slots yet, but we'll have to wait and see. He says, edit, in this case, talking about the yesterday's video, says, also in my late 20s, I had crippling debt. My wages were being garnished. I couldn't get a car, and my credit was like $350. My best friend's mom sold me a Honda Accord and let me pay her $200 a month for it. But I had to read Dave Ramsey's book. My debt is gone now, and my credit is so high that I could actually buy a Ferrari if I wanted to. Well, congratulations on turning your life around. Again, I'm going to be real with you guys, and there are things that I feel are more important than video games, and I'm not going to put them in the start of the video, but by the end of the video, we might have some real talk and some life advice from people who've lived it. There's so much about my life story that I'm not going to share with you guys here in this video, but if you come along on this journey with me, you're gonna learn about some of the major sufferings that I've had to deal with over the course of my life. And here's the thing. We've all suffered. We've all been a part of that. We've all had different experiences, but nobody here who's listening to these words has ever not suffered something, right? And so that makes us human. It makes us better to closely more relate. And it's through that, as my voice fails me because of puberty, and it's through that because of the suffering that I had to do to get out of debt that I am very passionate about letting people know there is a better way to live your life. And the thing is, what I've discovered is that often you need to know that. You need to believe that you can actually have a better life. A lot of people just have given up because they've been told to. and they just accept it. And if I in any way inspire one of you out there who's listening to these videos as a part of these sections in the 11th hour of the video, the very tail end, to believe in yourself, then all of this is worth it. Even if I lose subscribers over like these, these endings, right? It's worth it because you're worth it, and you can have a better life, something where you're not filled with anxiety and stress, and finances aren't just beating you over the head. So we're going to keep rolling with that, guys. These sections, the final pieces, are all about what you guys talk about in the comments. So I thank you guys so much for your engagement. I thank you for your support. I thank you for your likes. I thank you for your dislikes. I thank you more than anything else for giving me your time today. I thank you to the members here at the channel. I really appreciate y'all's support, keeping the lights on here, especially as ad revenue is always up and down. And so thank you guys to the members. If you guys want to consider becoming a member, that's check out the links. You can also check out the affiliate links as well. That's another great way of supporting the channel. But for free, it's an easy like. And honestly, I'm just glad that each and every one of you guys are here. For Ginger Prime, my name has been Brian. Thank you so much for your time today. Hopefully I will see you guys in the next video. But until then, take care.